Welcome back, guys. This is going to be game number 2 here between Stephano and Puma in this best of 3 series. This time we are here on Terminus RE, and yes, this is again game number 2. We do have Puma spawning over here in the right-hand position. This is also known as the 3 o'clock as our pink Zerg player, and down here in the 6 o'clock, the very bottom of the map, we've got Puma as the blue Terran player. Now, last game, Puma, going through the motions of what typically can be very effective with Marine drops, Hellion Harass, Blue Flame Hellion Harass. We saw also a Marine and Hellion and 1 Medevac push. All of these things can a lot of times be incredibly effective at hurting your Zerg opponent and setting him back and forcing him to drone up instead of making units and all this sorts of things like this. But unfortunately for Puma, Stephano was just on his game with the scouting. Creep spread plus Overlord placement allowed him to see pretty much every single drop that Puma attempted to come down with. Stephano was fully aware that it was coming and as such was able to respond. Obviously, kudos goes to Stephano. One thing that I think was very unfortunate for Puma is that a lot of his drops, we were on Shattered Temple, and a lot of his drops on the left-hand side of the map are spotted by some nicely placed overlords from Stephano. A single Viking earlier than he did eventually come out with some double Vikings to deal with it, but a single Viking could have dealt with that, and then he would have been pretty much all set and good to go. But unfortunately, he didn't have that, and as such, his drops were spotted, and as such, they were taken care of. So great play there by Stephano. Let's take a look over here. We're seeing a little bit of fanciness go on. Puma coming down, opening up here with these double racks in a forward position. Now this will allow him to apply that 2 racks pressure with those early Marines, probably an SCV as well for some bunker placement, a little bit of harass. But in addition, this will allow him to come out with that quick expansion. More times than not, the 2 racks opening with Marine pressure is followed up with a command center immediately after, and then from there it's up to you. You can go double refinery and work your way up to some mech play, or just get a few more racks and maybe 1 refinery, go bio heavy and get out the factory, and then eventually end up going into the Marine tank medevac style of play. So hopefully Puma is able to be a little more successful this game in terms of his harassment and the things that he is doing. Unfortunately, it looks like these racks are not rallied. We need him to actually push out immediately with these. Maybe just not sure where they are yet. Yeah, that's actually why. He just wasn't sure where his opponent was, but Puma, there we go, finally rallying right on over. He does want to head out here as soon as possible and start that early game aggression. You definitely want to move out basically as soon as that first Marine pops out, and oh, Puma. A little off his game today. We've got an idle Marine sitting over here. Do want him to grab that and head that on over. That's certainly a single unit. Will make a difference in this early type of pressure. And oh man, I'm not sure what it is. I'm typically very, very impressed with Puma's play. Not to say that he's a bad player, because he certainly is not. He's an excellent player. He plays professional level, but this is just not a good day for him, unfortunately. Pushing forward with that 1 SCV and these 2 Marines will be engaging those workers. Workers trying to get us around, actually pulling back the injured one and dropping a spine crawler with it. We've got Puma setting up this 1 bunker back here. He will be pushing forward with this additional bunker as well. He needs to try to get that up before that spine crawler finishes, trying to micro away from those workers, and actually now sitting with enough Marines to actually help steal that 1 idle Marine. And if this push isn't successful, it could partially be due to the fact that 1 Marine wasn't here assisting, because that extra DPS can make a big difference, especially when it comes down to so few units early on. A couple Marines enough to shoo that back though, and it looks like he might finish this. We've got the spine crawler just about finished. Is he going to finish the bunker in time though? Needs to sneak the Marines right on in there. There we go, Marines heading on in, and that is going to be enough. He should be able to actually take out at least this 1 spine crawler. Don't know if he's going to be able to hit that one. And actually very nice there by Stephano, uplifting that just in time. Marines jumping out of that bunker though, pulling on forward, trying to get that spine crawler down. Seeing some good micro here. We still got that 1 SCV that is repairing, situated back in the bunker. However, those are within range of those spine crawlers, but they cannot shoot the spine crawlers from where they're located. So we do want to see a salvage. Is it going to get off in time? No, it does not. Puma did not get those resources back, and we'll be seeing the spine crawler push forward, and he should be all set right now, plus the assistance there from those Zerglings, and Puma should be cutting back on this. He is keeping continuously streaming out. We do have that expansion coming through as expected. Really, at this point, not in a position to do much more damage. It will really depend, though, as to whether or not Stephano decides to come out with enough Zerglings to be able to overwhelm this small Marine early game force. Idle. Every time I see that idle Marine, it makes me very, very sad inside. So let's see a salvage there of that bunker. Does Stephano have vision on that? Yes, he does. He'll be moving forward to get us around, and hopefully Puma salvages this in time. This would actually be terrible if he didn't manage to get this in time. Oh, Okay, looks like he did salvage in time. I believe he got that off and did get that return of those resources there. We've got a counterattack moving out right now, and Puma doesn't have that full wall off, so he could take a little bit of damage, although it does look like he has enough Marines to actually contend with a small amount of Zerglings. Yes, in fact, the Marines he have should have no problem with just a little bit of micro taking out those Zerglings actually quite easily. This is going to be a couple free kills there for Puma, pushing back Stephano's army. Stephano should be heading on back home right now. You can see he's droning up, so he's really not in a position. Doesn't want to actually come out with a ton of Zerglings, because in doing so, that would hurt him economically. There we go, the Marines getting some more free kills from those Zerglings. Now Stephano realizes this push is coming, is actually getting a few more Zerglings just to try to save his hide in case we do see Puma follow through with this aggression, this aggressive push that he's making. Looks like the transition was a double refinery into some heavy mech play, so we will be seeing Puma move into a little more mech, at least a transition here. At least if temporary, if nothing else, is what I'm trying to say. Those are the words I'm trying to sputter out of my mouth there. At least for the moment, we'll be coming out with these double factories, mech heavy play. This could just be a transition to Blue Flame, and then he'll work his way into the Marine tank. And it looks like, yes, the Blue Flame Hellions are what he is coming out with. So we'll transition into Blue Flame Hellions, and then I expect that middle to later game transition to be into Marine Tank. You can't really just sit Marine, Blue Flame Hellion all game. That's not going to be the best of things for you. We got a depot here for Puma placed on the edge of the base. This will be a little bit for scouting purposes to see any possible Overlord scouts that may be moving in. Trying to grab at least the one tower over here. We got Puma situated with those Zerglings. Also, I'm sorry, yes, we've got Stephano situated with those Zerglings. Stephano also moving here into this third expansion. He's making that transition into Banelings. Where are those Banelings? Oh, there we go. Actually, the Banelings just sitting here at the front of that expansion. In addition, we got finally an extractor situated over here. He does have one extractor at that natural, obviously, with those Banelings coming in. We knew that. Metabolic boost just now coming through. He's been droning up fairly hard, and also obviously dealing with that early game aggression and that decision, of course, to come out with this expansion. So here we go. We've got some stim pack research coming out over here for Puma. He has got those Blue Flame Hellions, not even bothering getting a reactor quite yet, just getting a tech lab right there, and there's that transition coming through into some siege tanks right now. So just pushing out right now with this small little force. He's got 4 Blue Flame Hellions plus this fairly decent amount of Marines for the early game. 15 Marines. This push will not be timed with that stim pack. He will be pushing before that. At least it looks to be the case right now. But at least that Blue Flame will be finished for this push, so he'll be able to roast a lot of those Zerglings. And hopefully these Banelings as well. We'll be using the Marines probably to target fire down those spines and try to let those Hellions work on the rest. And actually looks like he will be taking down these destructible debris here in the back and trying to go from the backside. This could actually work very, very well for him. Stephano does need to be careful, try to make sure he's got a good position there for his spines to be able to hit the high ground and the low ground. Right now where he's at, looking pretty decent in all honesty. He's going to be able to hit anyone who works along this path right here. They could hug the edge, but it looks like they would be walking into some Banelings if they decide to do so. So yes, transition for Puma here into Marine Tank. Let's see how successful this push is going to be. One scan getting dropped, taking out an encroaching creep tumor. And here comes the push right now. We've got a Queen situated down here to help defend. Lots of Speedlings. He will hopefully be trying to get us around on Puma's units. Let's see what Puma can do for damage, though. We'll be protecting those Marines with those Hellions. It's going to come down to Micro right now. Needs to pull back with those Marines. Try to target fire down with those Hellions. He's doing... Oh, no. Losing all those Marines, and the Hellions not doing maybe as much damage as he would have hoped. Looks like this last Hellion will be pushed back. Let's take a look at units lost. We are about even right now. So Puma did obviously manage to do quite a bit of damage in the terms of the number of Zerglings and Banelings he did take out, but he lost a big bunch of Marines. Just a little splitting that army in half would have made a big difference, but obviously so micro-intensive trying to control those Hellions and all of those Marines all at the same time. Certainly not an easy feat. Now we have Stephano pulling on back. He again has this wall off situated here at the front. It's not a full wall off, but this cuts back on Hellion harass quite a bit and does tend to be very effective. Also has this double research coming out. Looks like it will be the melee attacks as well as that Carapace. Back over here, Puma looking to make another push. This time he does have those tanks in play. That siege mode will be finished in time for when that push arrives at the front door. We also have that combat shield as well as that level 1 upgrade. We'll be grabbing the Marines situated here at that Zelnaga as well. Should be transitioning into some medevacs. No, not quite yet. He doesn't even have a starport in play at the moment. So just working on this Marine tank push for now. But here we go. Let's see how effective this does manage to be. Very nice scouting Zergling for Stephano. So he knows that this is coming. We've got some tanks setting up shop right now. Given the fact that he was scouted, wants to make sure he's safe. And actually looks like Puma will be setting up a little bit of a contain, but unbelievably, we've got a hatchery placed over here for Stephano. He should be forced to cancel that though. This one injured Hellion will be enough to cancel that hatchery just because of the scouting information that this is giving Puma. Stephano really doesn't have a chance to be able to protect that whatsoever, so should just be canceling that. That is what I'm expecting right now. Marines pushing down, trying to get an Overlord kill. Does manage to get that, and ooh, Queen taking a bit of splash damage from that tank. And we've got continuous aggression right now. Puma is literally setting up a very hard contain right outside the natural and third here of Stephano, and he's going closer and closer with those tanks, providing some support here for this tank, preventing a full surround from Zerglings. That's pretty cool there to see that, certainly. And then just pushing forward with a small group of Marines, very close to killing off that Queen. Not quite yet, though, and he's actually going to be getting down that Spine Crawler, pushing forward, killing that Queen. Stephano's third is in danger, never mind. Banelings taking out those Marines. Looks like Puma was looking elsewhere, but this is such a hard contain from Puma. Very, very ballsy indeed. The fact that he's getting this close right now. So the major concern and what we do need to see Stephano do is try to hit from multiple angles. It will be hard for him to push out, though, with this building contain here from Puma. Just so many bunkers and coming out with these depots as well. Remember, the whole point of that is to prevent those Speedlings and Banelings from able to get on in and get a full surround and hopefully try to trigger some Baneling fire against these buildings as opposed to those tanks and Marines. Continuing up the push, he's now right up on the third. Those Speedlings will be forced to push forward right now, trying to get surrounded from both angles. Speedlings going right up, but look, there's so many buildings, and the DPS from those Marines, plus those tanks, and the splash damage from those tanks doing so much damage. Now finally we do have Stephano with some mutas in play. We've got continuous aggression. The Hellions still working over here on that hatchery. These Marines will be taking out Stephano's third. I do expect that fourth to get dropped eventually, although Puma's not concentrated on that yet. He's still pushing forward with this slow tank aggression. This is pretty impressive stuff right now. Losing a few more Marines. There we go, finally stimming up from those Banelings. The mutas taking advantage of those stim Marines retreating to try to drop those tanks, but the missile turret doing a lot of DPS, plus those reinforcements Marines helping a lot. Still have 3 tanks and quite a few Marines over here for Puma, and this is just, again, a pretty impressive contain from Puma. He's doing a phenomenal job. He will be rebuilding that turret right now. Just a very few amount of mutas. This hatchery very, very close to dying. Puma does need to push in and take that out as soon as possible because that is very, very vulnerable right now. Just a few Marines stemmed up. We'll drop that very quickly. We do have a scan, so Puma is aware of the condition right now of that hatchery. Slowly moving forward with this tank line, and he's just getting ever closer. We'll be taking out this evolution chamber. A few Marines sniping out the broodlings that did come out of that, and it looks like, yes, we'll be dropping this Evo chamber as well, keeping up those reinforcements. Right now Puma is still on 2 bases. He hasn't even bothered expanding into a third yet, and again, Stephano's third hatchery very vulnerable, and again, this is unreal, just pushing ever closer with these bunkers. The fact that this is still here has got to be super frustrating for Stephano. Puma lost the SCV that was building that bunker as well as that turret, but looks like he will be rebuilding that turret with that additional SCV, and here we go, tanks getting closer and closer and closer. Stephano doesn't have any counter aggression. He should be trying to take care of some reinforcements with those mutas, and finally he will be doing that. So there you go, moving down to try to deal with some of those reinforcements, but Puma is so dedicated to this push. Really, he needs to take out Stephano here, because if he loses all those units, he'll be in a lot of trouble. There we go, Marines finally moving on over to take this out. We got a couple of Speedlings ready to pop from those eggs over there. Marines trying to protect these tanks as much as possible. Zerglings, Speedlings, and Banelings pushing forward to try to move on those tank line, but again, the DPS there and the splash damage from those tanks are enough to deal with what few Zerglings there were. He managed to kill off a few tanks, but there are still 2 remaining and quite a few Marines here as well, so Puma will be keeping this up. And again, with the reinforcements, oh my gosh, Puma will be taking out this expansion. Really nothing Stephano can do right now. At this point in the game, he's way too far behind, and there we go, losing that natural. Just a matter of time until that hatchery gets taken out. It looks like it will be 3 Marines that take that out, pushing forward. Are they target firing down? There we go. So the hatchery right now is taken out as well. This will put Stephano with just 1 base and calling the well played. Puma opened up this game with some 2 racks early Marine and bunker aggression. He was able to do a fair amount of damage, although eventually Stephano did manage to push it back with these spine crawlers, taking out that bunker and enough Zerglings to push back those Marines. Puma then pushed out with a Marine and Blue Flame Hellion attack. However, this was taken care of pretty easily by Stephano, with the Banelings mopping up a lot of those Marines and the Hellions getting taken care of by those Zerglings. Puma then transitioned into just Marine tank and moved outside of Stephano's main base and his natural in his third, setting up a tank contain. And this is where we set for the remainder of the game. Puma just continuously pushed closer and closer towards that natural and third, was eventually able to take out both of those expansions. We also see we had an expansion over here for Stephano, but that was taken out by a small group of Marines as well. Very nice contain here from Puma. Unfortunately, it was something that Stephano had just way too difficult of a time to actually break through. He tried a few times to push up onto the tank line with Speedlings and Banelings, but was never actually able to fully break it, and as such, with this wonderful contain, Puma forced Stephano's GG. Alright guys, well thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed this game number 2. We will be moving on to game number 3 in just one moment. We are of course tied up now 1-1 in this best of 3 series. As always guys, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.